All right, we are live on air. We are on Friday night time frames, and we are glad that this winter weather is pretty much almost over with for right now. So, good quality roadway is going to be a couple of days away at this point. And as we go into the next couple of days, it is going to be, again, a little bit on the more difficult side for driving out there. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek. We have reached the 10th day of February or January for 2025. It is Friday night. We are wrapping up our latest winter storm coming on through. So again, so far we have gotten away with a couple of inches of snow out there and freezing rain and sleet and all sorts of other stuff as well. If you've never been here before, this is our live online video weather blog. We try to do this most weekday evenings so we can give you an idea as to what's going on ahead. We are coming to you live from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee. Again, at WDEF News 12 on Broad Street. The 7-day forecast, that's available on our website, wdef.com/weather, but that'll give you a good idea as to what's going on. In a second, we're going to do a bit of a shift. We usually have a big monitor here, but unfortunately it is not working. So for right now, we're going to have to switch over to the secondary way of doing things, which is the graphics up here, and I'm replacing the 7-day forecast down in the lower portion of the screen. You're looking at a live picture of downtown up there on the weather overtime slate, but let's go ahead and do this on the area wide screen so you can see more about what's happening. This is downtown on the EPB fiber optics weathercam network. You're looking at the TVA building just around the area of the library over to your right hand side, Market Street, and back over toward Broad Street going through downtown. You're looking off to the south on the horizon there, and we've still got a decent amount of moisture out there on the horizon and also on the camera lenses. We've had a combination of sleet, freezing rain, snow, and all sorts of other stuff happening. So we did have, again, some potential for a lot more, but we seem to have transferred over to the liquid precipitation, which is right now in not entirely a bad thing because that is helping to get some better control on the roadways. You can see traffic lower left-hand corner of your screen. Numerous vehicles heading down southbound on Market Street, and while it is clunky out there and passable, there's ruts carved into the snow that's left over. So sometimes you got 2 lanes, sometimes you got 1 lane, but at least at this point you can see the traffic is moving at least treacherously, and later on tonight as the temperatures sink, that is where we may see again more potential problems out across the area. Drizzle, mist, and fog. The Chattanooga airport on the right-hand side of this screen. You're looking off to the southwest, and usually this is a great camera at Lee Point on the Plainview Outdoor Advertising camera for getting a spectacular sunset above the horizon out this way, but not the case for tonight. Very difficult to see things out there. Let's go back to downtown once again from the News 12 studios looking north toward Signal Mountain. You can barely see some of the downtown buildings out across the area. I-24 traffic is moving, but there are a lot of problems out there for tonight. We'll get to that coming up in just a little bit. One more look at traffic. Let's see 2475. Roadways wet. Combination of different types of precipitation coming down. Reported sleet, freezing rain, a mixture of snow and rainfall in some locations. Traffic also moving very much on the light side, but it is going to be, that's the Tomahawk crane and rigging camera. This is the Speedy's total car care camera looking southwest from Coolidge Park that you see with that roundabout down at the lower section of your screen. The Tennessee River between the North Shore neighborhood and Coolidge Park. The Tennessee River like glass tonight. There is very little wind to speak of, and off across toward the aquarium and the footbridge. Still some people out and about tonight taking a look at the winter weather, and we've got again some moisture on the screen, so it is definitely kind of a wet evening. From the Chattanooga Zoo looking back toward I-24, usually you can see the lights of I-24 barely visible through the drifting mist and fog and haze out across much of the region. So again, it's wet. Holtzclaw Avenue down here at the bottom of your screen, not seeing anything going on there for right now. Temperatures at the airport barely above freezing, and going to continue to see excuse me, a mixture of precipitation all night long. Now, something to think about here, this is the view from I-24 and McBrien Avenue. This goes between the ridge around downtown out to the 2475 split that we just showed you. And in the lower section of your screen, you can see precisely where this car went off the roadway and where it ended up. So again, you can see also the lanes crowded by a decent amount of snow, freezing rain, and sleet. You're seeing everything moving pretty quickly through parts of I-24 here, but again, one little misstep is probably all it took to get this van off to the side of the roadway. Hopefully everybody was okay on that. We also have a couple of very big problems for tonight, one of which, and this is at just before 10 o'clock, I-75 southbound. This is northeast of Chattanooga into Bradley County, over the line from Hamilton County, which is where Chattanooga is part of. This semi-trailer has been tipped over on its side on southbound I-75. Southbound 75 has been closed by Tennessee Highway Patrol until this is taken care of. This has been here for hours, and it looks like it's a good possibility that it may remain there for a couple more hours until they can get this thing uprighted and back on the roadways. But with the emergency vehicles and this semi-trailer in its current position, it's a good possibility that we're not going to see 75 southbound. Yes, I know it says 75 north, but this is the 75 southbound lanes, so something again to keep in mind if you're out there for tonight. And that's not the only one. Hopefully this has helped a little bit. That area, okay, this is good news. For now, both of these vehicles are on I-75 on either side of Cleveland, Tennessee. So we've had a lot of area problems here. A lot of the roadways marked by the TDOT SmartWay system, we'll show you that in a minute, are marked as treacherous or hazardous, problematic at best. What you're looking at here in the center part of your screen was where a semi-trailer jackknifed and rode off the roadway. The two wreckers having to come and get the trailer out are done, and all that's left are the gouge marks and the marks in the snow and everything else in the median. Everything moving through here, but as you can see with that traffic, that semi-trailer moving through, going around the area of southbound 75, they got back on the interstate probably up around the Cleveland entrance that you can see in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. Everything moving with a little bit more gingerness to everything, trying to stay very smooth and ahead of anything coming their direction in the way of problems. Temperatures on either side of the freezing mark for everybody in the News 12 viewing area. If you're higher up, Signal Mountain, Cumberland Plateau, Appalachians, you're colder, and therefore you're probably getting more snowfall. So for right now, the view on radar is showing that most of everything has in fact cleared the area. It's sporadic leftover snow, freezing rain, sleet showers coming on through here, and we'll continue again to see those pop-up areas of showers and various precipitation amounts into the course of the next couple of hours. But the bulk of everything has gone by the wayside. So most of what we're looking at here has basically finished up. There's not that much left at this time. So good news is that we are, for the most part, done with this. As the temperatures drop into later on tonight, that is where we could be looking at more problems sticking to the roadways. It'll freeze overnight again, and then into Sunday morning, I've got some pretty bad feelings about what is going to be going on. Talk about that in just a little bit. The winter storm warning remains in effect until 7 a.m. Eastern for all of the News 12 viewing area, all of East Tennessee, all of North Alabama, all of North Georgia. And again, the numbers that we have been seeing so far have basically been doing a lot better than we're starting to see the cancellations of a lot of the warnings back out to the west of us. So that is good news as that moisture slowly comes to an end. But here's where we get into the problems out there tonight. We've got the moisture. You can see that on the Chattanooga Zoo webcam sitting there. As we get into the rest of the morning, past midnight, this is where we see the temperatures. They don't fall off specifically, but they do trend downwards. So going below freezing just past midnight, it only takes a couple of degrees to turn some of these roadways into skating rinks, basically. And that's what we're looking at for tonight. Now, temperatures tonight, again, mainly back into the mid to upper 20s by the time we hit dawn patrol tomorrow morning. That's where the worst of the slick conditions will be. Getting into the rest of the forecast, we go upwards on the numbers into tomorrow, but I think we have some problems with that taking place for right now. Current storm system on its way out. It'll be taking most of the night to make its way off into the Atlantic. We see this next burst of cold air coming through, so it will be chilly, below freezing into tomorrow morning. The computer gets us at to just above freezing for Saturday. And then, without the cloud cover, all of tomorrow's daytime heat, so to speak, radiates away. And we don't see much of anything taking place after that in the way of warm weather. Look at the temperature expectations as we go into Sunday morning. This is where we will see temperatures plummet, and that means anything that melts getting very warm enough to melt, I should say. It's going to be pretty chilly on Saturday. Once we get into what it looks like on Sunday morning, I've got a very sneaking suspicion that we are going to see a flash freeze situation, which means all of the water is going to just freeze in place, glazing over, and I think we may see the possibility of widespread black ice into Sunday morning. Tomorrow, yes, we'll see some refrozen water, but I also think on Sunday morning we could see black ice out there, which means if you're looking down the roadway as you're traveling, the insulated portions of the roadways going down and along someplace, you're driving north-south on those roadways, are insulated by the ground around it. Now then you have the bridges and overpasses, which are not supported by the ground. They have air cooling them off on all sides, which means the bridges and overpasses will be the ones to cool off quickest and first. What's going to happen is you're going to be driving along, you're going to be looking down the road, you see the bridge or the overpass coming up that you're going to be on in a few seconds, and it looks wet or maybe even looks dry. You're going to hit that bridge or overpass and you're going to lose control very quickly. That is what black ice is. You can't really distinguish it from the rest of its surroundings, and it is going to be very slick, very dangerous to hit it at highway speeds or even any speed right there, to where you can lose control very quickly. You will have little, if any, traction on there. So again, anything that is not supported by the ground, insulated by the ground, that is going to be the area to watch out for when it comes to anything in the way of regarding the potential of freezing over on Sunday morning. Respective orange, will that warning be replaced by some kind of advisory? That depends on the National Weather Service. Taking a look again at, for right now, I'm backing this up, you can see all of this moisture here. The blue is snow, green is rain, and purple is the mixture. I think most of that is going to be gone by tomorrow morning. There will be some snow flurries left over, but it shouldn't be that much of a problem. And then the dry air takes over, and we don't see anything in the way of precipitation for the next several days. So very good question. I don't think that it's going to be replaced. Right now, I don't see any possibility of it being replaced, but to make certain we cover all bases, the National Weather Services in this area might issue a freezing fog advisory or a travel advisory of some possibility. I think that's unlikely, but given how bad the situation might be, that is something that, again, could be possible. I just don't really, for right now, seeing it happen. And as of the current time frame, let me zip over to this real quick. What you're looking at here, let's see, I guess not, because is that what we want? There we go. Okay, sorry about that for a second. Let me plug this in real quick. What you're looking at here is TDOT's SmartWay map, and this is showing, again, what is going on across the entire area. Road conditions and traffic conditions, not all that great. We've got impacts of snow on there. We're seeing, again, everything on here that is a snowflake is showing where the potential problems are, and you can get there from the TDOT SmartWay camera. Anything in the way of the switchback roadways across the area, not looking great. The local roadways are in worse shape than the major highways across much of the area. Patches of snow and ice, again, around the area. State Route 27 here, right from downtown across, and unfortunately that's pretty much the way I have to be able to get home later on tonight. And as of right now, the TDOT line is to basically say that it's patchy ice and snow for the most part, but there are locations out there that we are seeing information that says use caution, but we also see some areas that are saying motorists are advised not to use these roadways. And you can get there by clicking on the snowflakes. This is on the TDOT SmartWay system, a very neat little website on there. Some roadways have been closed out there across portions of the area, and for very good reason. That, again, you get stranded in some of this, it may be hours before you get rescued. And again, the authorities at this point are out doing their best to handle everything to keep people safe. Right back again around Cleveland, you notice the red-lined areas to where that particular location. They're marking I-75 in both directions, Bradley County, as being, quote, extremely hazardous. So this is not a evening to get out and about and be in a rush. Now, being from Kansas, I can comfortably say that this is really not, to me, a hugely major storm system. I have driven in this particular type of storm doesn't even crack my top 10 of major winter weather that I've been through. But that, suffice it to say, a lot of folks who live and have grown up and learned to drive in this area do not have the type of experience that I have. I learned to drive in this stuff way back even during the ice storm of '84 in Topeka, Kansas. And if you don't have to drive, that is going to be the best thing for you to stay home, because all it's going to take is one momentary loss of attention, tuning the radio, fiddling with your phone, going too fast around a curve, and you are going to have a lot of long, boring conversations with your insurance agent because of the fact that you're not paying attention. Now, several of the roadways here, again, looking at conditions that are showing road conditions as being green. Everything's moving, but I get the feeling that a lot of those roadways, 153, 75, 24, the reason we get a lot of green markers on here is because there's hardly anybody on the roadways at this point. So that is why we're not seeing a lot of activity happening for the time being. All right, back to the forecast real quick. Again, as we get into and around the area of Sunday morning back into the teens. Again, black ice a problem. Highs above freezing briefly on Sunday. And then Monday morning, I think it's a good possibility we could see some delayed school openings or maybe even some cancellations, because guess what? Once again, we're going to be below freezing as a reinforcing shot of cold air passes through the area and keeps our temperatures chilly as we go into next week. We do see some moisture down to our south, not much, and we're not picking up any of that according to the computer models. Dry and frigid again for Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon. As this next system comes through, we could see the potential of some snow showers. I think it's not going to be anything like what we've seen in the last 18 hours or so, but early Tuesday afternoon on the way home from school, could be some snowflakes out there, and then going into early Wednesday morning, we're going to cool off into the teens and 20s yet again. So we've got some very cold numbers on the way. We're going to be stuck below normal for quite some time, it looks like, and that's not going to help things when it comes to traveling out across much of the area. Old Glory up on the area around Island Cove Marina and Resort. It may not look like it is moving out there. We have calm winds. We can see, this is a live picture, you can see the lights of the houses around Lake Chickamauga twinkling as there is maybe just a bit of a breeze, but as of right now, there's hardly anything, and you can see the mist in the lower left-hand corner. There's snow, there's sleet, there's freezing rain, there's all sorts of things, again, depending on your location. That is where we're looking at the potential of anything coming down for right now. Okay, so for tomorrow morning, we're going to be seeing the temperatures drop below freezing. We'll get back above freezing as flurries come to an end. We'll be back into the teens as we go into and around Sunday morning. So black ice, I think, will be a very big concern. Above freezing briefly for Sunday, and then back below freezing again for Monday morning. And the next best chance of anything involving rainfall anytime soon, it looks like it is going to be back into and around portions of next week, probably somewhere around Saturday, Friday night into Saturday. I've kept the rainfall marker off of Friday because I think it's going to be into next weekend. And if we get back to normal on temperatures, which is about 50 degrees for this time of the year, I think we'll stay just rainfall. So for next weekend, I think we're looking at rain. I don't see anything in the way of severe weather yet. Hopefully it stays that way. And if it stays this mild on the temperatures, we probably should see just rainfall and no winter weather taking place. That's the way it looks for right now. As we get closer to, again, the end of the week, we'll know more about next weekend's rainfall potential. The big thing for this weekend, and I can't begin to put an overemphasis on this, is that we want to make certain everybody stays safe out there. So if you have to travel, this weekend, try to do it during the warmer portions of the day. That's going to be the best bet that you can really have with that potential of the melting temperatures. If you can get behind a semi-trailer on the highways and follow those ruts, stay in those ruts, that'll help you from fishtailing, but you got to be slow and you got to be paying attention and passing again on the interstates and the highways around here. You're going to have to be very careful. Keep in mind also that the secondary roadways and highways, the residential areas, are going to be close to being a nightmare because they're going to refreeze, and especially if you live on an elevated roadway, you're going to have to kind of gear up to go up there, and if you have no traction, you have no chance of getting up that hill. I can hear some people sitting there and saying, oh, I have four-wheel drive. No, four-wheel drive on ice does not work. If you have no traction, you have, guess what, no traction. And four-wheel drive will not matter at all in icy conditions. You'll be slipping around just like everybody else. The trick is going to be staying home. If you have to travel, go during the warmest parts of the day. Make certain that whatever you have to do, get out, get it done, get back. Don't be in a rush because that can send you into a ditch easier than anything else. Now, next week, again, looking pretty good, but I would worry more about Saturday night and again, tonight into Saturday morning and Saturday night into Sunday morning. Again, black ice, I think, will be a big, big problem. So let's be careful out there, as Sergeant Phil used to say, and let's make certain we're all paying attention on what's going on out there. So again, just watch what goes on. Some extracurricular stuff real quick. Thanks a lot to News 12 viewer John E. Kelly from the Harrison area looking back toward Island Cove, the camera we just featured. That's our Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. Very nice light up foreground and background at sunset. Winter sunsets are some of the most picturesque out there. And again, thanks to Mr. Kelly for sending those along. If you've got pictures, we would love to see what you've got, a description and a location, if you would be so kind. But you can get them to us several different ways. You can email them to us. You can get them to us, again, by our social media pages. Drop them into the comments section. Or you can go to Weather Window headquarters at wdef.com/photos if you'd like to see more about what's going on out there with everybody else's donations. And again, you could submit yours there, and yours could be the next Langley Roofing Weather Window picture of the day. I'm just guessing that with this latest winter storm, there's going to be a lot of pictures coming in over the next several days. We'll get to all of them as much as we possibly can, but we are running a little low, so if you do have some of those pictures, we'd love to see more about what you are seeing out there. Just to be on the safe side. One more time before we wrap things up for tonight. Again, that overturned semi-trailer on southbound 75, which 75 interstate is now closed around the area in Bradley County near Cleveland, Tennessee. You can see that entire semi-trailer has overturned there. That's the worst of the worst for right now. Getting out and about with a pupper in the morning, definitely want to bundle up, and there could be some leftover snow showers dwindling and moving out of the picture. Thanks to Holland Orkins, pardon me for misrepresenting your name if that's your whole name there, but a little unclear on the website submission form. From the Menlo, Georgia area, Lily, a Shichon teddy bear mixture, comfortable on the pillows and the blankets. A very good place to be on a day like this. That's our dog walking forecast from News 12. If your business would like to sponsor this page, get in contact with our sales staff at wdef.com/advertise. What else do we have here for tonight? Outdoors forecast again tomorrow. What's left of the freezing rain dwindling. It's going to be a chilly, cold day, kind of breezy at times. And likewise, and just throwing this out there, I don't think tomorrow is going to be a great day for golf because all the leftover precipitation out there is not going to make for even winter rules to be all that much more fun out across the area. Almanac page real quick. We were barely above freezing for a high. We were barely below freezing for a low. Record low -1 in 1886. We picked up another half an inch of rainfall, and the good news is on that is that we have now seen enough rain to give us a surplus for the year. So some good news on that is that we are now seeing less in the way of problems out there for the time being. We are also seeing, again, the potential for a surplus. It's not much, but at least we are getting something. So we get to change our numbers over to a nice blue instead of a deficit in induction red. So that looks a little better. It's not much, but we'll take again what we can get on there for right now. Questions, concerns, ideas, again, send them in to us at wdef.com. We're going to be, one other thing I want to mention, that if you've never participated in this before, it's called MPing. It's the Meteorological Phenomenon Identification Near the Ground app, and it comes to us courtesy of the National Severe Storms Laboratory. It is completely and totally free to download. Radar's great. Radar tells us a lot about what might be happening a few hundred to a few thousand feet up in the atmosphere, but what is happening down on the ground when that precipitation lands? Well, you can help with that. You don't need a PhD to participate in research projects. All you need is a pencil and a piece of paper, or a smartphone or a tablet or your computer system, your eyes, your ears, your brains. This is a great app because you get to report what you see at the ground, whether it's hail, graupel, anything in the way of freezing rain, snow, how much, when, things like that. And your information showing what is up on the radar and what's happening beneath it, your information could help improve weather forecasting and radar design in the next several decades. Just because you stood outside or looked off your front porch and gave scientists and meteorologists and researchers the idea about what you saw. So this is a very cool app to have. So please consider this Again, download it, totally free. It's also neat. You can take a look and see what everybody else has been reporting over the last several hours. So if you can, download this and take a look. Want to make certain that everybody's paying attention because we are smack in the middle of severe weather season number 2 from January through May. If you live in Hamilton County or Chattanooga, let's see, about 3 weeks on Tuesday, February the 4th, close to that, give or take, just shy of a month, 6 p.m. Eastern at Old Harrison Elementary School. This is mainly for Hamilton County and Chattanooga residents only. But if you live in this particular area, or if you live outside the county and you want to attend, there's a catch. There's only 100 spots available at Old Harrison Elementary School for the attendance here for that from the National Weather Service meteorologists and personnel at Morristown, Tennessee. So if you'd like to attend this, great, but please register for a seat so the National Weather Service can know more about who's showing up. These meetings last about an hour, hour and a half, give or take, somewhere in there, and it's a great opportunity to learn more about severe weather safety, what to look for, what to report back to the National Weather Service by either amateur radio, that's not a phone, that's a remote control, or your phone. So if you're out, or by 911, if you need to call that in from there to report hail, tornadoes, gusty damaging winds, things like that. This teaches you a lot about what you need to know. And if you could do this, the more people that are weather spotters, the more safe we will all be. I've seen kids as young as 7 or 8 become Skywarn spotters. The more curious ones love to know about this. These classes give kids a modicum of control over what feels like being an uncontrollable situation. So it's a very good place for the kids to go to learn more. Again, about 7 or 8 years old, that's fine. Speaking of amateur radio, the more amateur radio operators we have, the better off we could all be during a disaster. And thanks to the Chattanooga Amateur Radio Club for providing the refreshments during the break time that's coming up at this meeting. Very kind of Club W4AM Whiskey 4 Alpha Mike. Nice to see amateur radio getting involved in this to help, again, on sort of a sidebar note, but also to talk about ham radio, I'm sure. We'll have more about this coming up over the course of the next several weeks, so keep it tuned to News 12 again for a lot more with what's going on out there. That should do it for tonight. It's been a long day, a lot going on, a lot of information coming up on News 12 at 11. Of course, we'll be monitoring everything through the weekend into what could be the potential of slipping and sliding out there. So once again, if you have to travel, slow as you possibly can. Again, trying to make certain you keep control of the wheel, anticipate problems, look far ahead of you to see if anybody starts fishtailing so you know enough to slow down or get out of that area. Try to stay on as flat as surface as possible. Yes, I know around this area of the country it's very difficult with the ridges and the mountains, but that's a lesson right there, that if you don't have a good flat area to travel through, or if it involves going down or trying to go up a mountainside, might not be the worst idea to make certain that you just park it for the weekend and make certain everybody is staying safe until the temperatures are back where they need to be to melt all of this and get us back to semi-normal. I still think we're going to see some slick conditions by Monday. So please, again, keep an eye on that. Thanks to everybody on YouTube and Twitch for stopping on by. Apologies for this new format, but hopefully we'll get the monitor repaired so that I can use it at some point in time. I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. I got to get ready for News 12 at 11. Got about 40 minutes before that happens. Chip Chapman will be back on Monday morning to get you up to date on weather and traffic. And, of course, I'll be keeping an eye on the website at home, so stay tuned for more there. Live and direct from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee at the WDEF News 12 studios, I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek. Please, let's be careful out there as we go through this post-winter storm weekend.